This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. The Rock and Oprah, two of the biggest Satanists I've exposed over the years, are teaming up for a cause. Of course they are. Philanthropists unite. Unite once again and ask the people of the earth for their money when you're worth a combined $4 billion. But of course, this is about more than money. It always is. It's about the illusion of who these people are, who they claim to be. Wonderful, caring people, but if everybody only knew the wickedness they were involved in, this scheme that they're involved in would be over very quickly. But unfortunately, people look at these celebrities and they think that everything they're doing is wonderful. That's why Oprah and The Rock have started a cause for Maui, and they want your money to help rebuild. Now, our government's come out and said they've given $87 million to relief efforts to fix the infrastructure in Maui. Of course, we know what infrastructure means. It means to change it all and bring in smart technology so everything's connected to the internet, because that's what this is all about, including you. You'll be connected to the internet of bodies, as Claus has told us in the past, and all of these really psychotic people have told us in the past. But Oprah and The Rock, of course, wolves in sheep's clothing. In Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 through 23, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Take a look at these bad fruits pretending to be good fruits, and well, The Rock's a fruit, I'm sure, but listen to them, of course, talk about how great they are and how things are going to get worse in Maui before they can get better, but well, just take a look.
We have created the People's Fund of Maui that will put money directly in the hands of the people who need it right now.
This morning, some relief for the people of Maui from two of Hollywood's biggest stars.
We've been meeting with community leaders, our Kapuna, for the past couple of weeks, and just trying to figure out what we could do.
Oprah and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, coming together to aid communities impacted by the wildfires, launching a fund with an initial donation of $10 million, but also asking for more help.
In this time of need, you want to take care of the greatest need of the people, and that's giving them money.
The two reflecting on the devastation of the fires.
Oprah lives here in Maui. I was raised in these islands. My family are buried in these islands. It's going to take a long time to rebuild. Probably get a little worse before it gets a little better, but we're here doing what we could do.
All this as Maui is reeling, but working to rebuild. Weeks after the fires ripped through the historic town of Lahaina. Search and rescue crews have all but finished their operations.
So these are people I've exposed in the past. You might remember many skits, and I've tried to put them in this video before I uploaded the video, so I had to re-edit it. A lot of the clips are blocked. So a lot of these stories and these videos and these clips are going to go on my website, uprisingrevival.com. So make sure you subscribe now over on the website so you can see these things. The videos are blocked here on YouTube, and of course are put under controversial, need to be reviewed by a human, as well as copyright. So it's too much of a hassle to show who these people really are. But I'll use some clips here if you could see The Rock talk for himself. I can't upload the clip from Saturday Night Live where he made a robot that was into abusing kids, but we can see The Rock here talking about, children and what to do with them. And Oprah, of course, playing the role of, well, mocking Jesus openly and talking about how she believes in a different type of Christianity, which is really Luciferianism, because Oprah is not a true Christian. Oprah, in fact, always quotes the Bible and then makes fun of the Bible and talks about things such as how she has many favorite Bible verses. She laughs off the fact that she can't even remember the verses because she's not really a Christian. Now, it doesn't matter if you have Bible verses remembered or not, but you can clearly see here that she's mocking God. And take a look at a clip of her or him and Stephen Colbert talking about their favorite verses. And she talks about delighting thyself, because she's really talking about storing up earthly treasures, and thinks it's pretty funny that, well, they're really just laughing at the audience out there that believes that these are good people and these are good Christians. And of course, Stephen Colbert even has to crack a joke about David delighting himself. We know he's referencing fornication, but listen to these sick psychopaths.
Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
I have a different view of Christian than you do. The God I serve doesn't care whether you're tall or short, or whether you were born black or Asian or gay. And so that's just a difference of belief. And I take full responsibility for my going to hell or heaven. I take full responsibility. I think that you all should take that energy and try to create a little heaven here on earth for everybody. And I take full responsibility for it. I support her right to be who she thinks she is.
Mine is Psalms 37:4. Delight thyself. I'm so glad that David knew it.
David was into delighting himself.
Yeah, yes. Delight thyself in the Lord. He will give you the desires of your heart. What is Lord? Compassion, love, forgiveness. So you delight yourself in those virtues and you will receive the desires of your heart. Focus on being a force for good. Okay. The third law of motion, which is also the karma, which is also the golden rule.
Are you ready to open your heart? Are you ready? Are you ready to allow abundance and blessings? People can't figure out how I got to be so successful. It is because I have lived in the space of spirit my whole life. My favorite Bible verse, because I am Christian, is Acts something. I used to know the number, but it's an Acts. Y'all can Google it. But it says, thank you, 1728. In God I live and move and have my being.
So they clearly are not who they claim to be. And again, we could go and look at Maui. I have a video that's going up on the website that I covered years ago that talks about Oprah's fund. Oprah's school that she opened up. You know, a school, of course, for the poverty, the youth out there that don't have money or homes or families. And of course, what ended up happening there? Oh yeah, the kids there were all abused, right? But that doesn't make mainstream media here in the United States of America. So that's something over on the website I can cover. But of course, they want that buried here in the United States because they put a lot of money and a lot of effort into building Oprah up as this influencer of the people, for the people, right? So when they have money and they back these influencers, their job is to brainwash the public out there. And how do they do that? Well, they do what you just saw. They twist scripture. They get Christians into accepting things that God would not accept. They get Christians into thinking Christianity is something that it's not. Then they start getting people into thinking that everybody goes to heaven and all it's about is being a good person, even though there's no definition of what a good person is. To me, a good person is somebody who follows God's laws and God's commandments. That's a good person, right? You're not a good person if you hold the door open for somebody at a restaurant and then 5 minutes later you punch a kid in the face. Okay, that doesn't make you a good person. But in the eyes of the wicked, it does. Because remember, duality is what they believe in, that their good deeds outweigh their bad deeds. So this is Oprah, of course, and The Rock. What do you think that they're doing here? Well, they're not just donating $10 million when they're worth a combined $4 billion. But this is them obviously saying, well, we'll give a little bit of money. And obviously these people aren't giving any money. Let's be real. They're just asking you to give yours so they can continue to bankrupt our society so that they can have this new world order infrastructure in place. That's the real infrastructure they care about in addition to the smart cities, where there is no middle class and everybody's poverty. And then the rest of people are these people who are just loaded with money, but they still want you to give yours. And of course, Oprah knew exactly what was going to happen in Maui. I covered this before with Oprah and the land grab. Now everybody seems to know about it. Oprah obviously buying all the land up in Maui, just like Zuckerberg buying up all the land in Oahu. There's clearly something in place over on the islands. Maybe when they destroy everything here in North America, they know they could just hide out there. They don't even have to go underground, even though they have underground homes and bunkers and tunnels and all sorts of things. But in their minds, this is justified, right? They could burn Lahaina to the ground and do this to innocent people and their families and their homes and their pets. They could do that as long as, on the other side, they're like, well, look, we're doing what's needed and necessary for humanity, and we're going to donate money. Because in their minds, having us all imprisoned is what's best for us. right? That's in their minds. They're justified, they believe. Oh, well, we'll take it. They're going to at least be allowed to live. They'll be in our smart city prisons, but we'll let them live. And although, you won't really be alive. Most of these people, like I always say, Stepford wives will just be on autopilot, going through the motions, not even realizing what the misery that they're in. I've used the predictive programming in the past where they've talked about people uploading their consciousness and stuff, and then once they actually become aware of what's going on, they're miserable and depressed. It'll be too late then for society. It'll be too late for these people that are clamoring for this stuff. So this is a big thing that people are talking about. The Rock and Oprah, of course, they're not talking about their connections, how they pretend to be Christian. Oprah's whole facade of being a Christian is to deceive Christians. Right, I've covered Eckhart Tolle in the past. You always had Eckhart Tolle on, and they would talk about the New Age Christianity, right? Oprah talking about, God being jealous. She has her own interpretation of what God is and who God is and what the Bible is, and that's 100% wrong. That's deceitful. But she has an audience that follows her, and then they look at her like, oh, yeah, and they start interpreting the Bible that way. The Bible is dead set. God's word is God's word. You follow it to a T. You don't pick things that you like and then go around things that you might not, and you might be like, oh, I don't know, because of what society is telling you and influencing you with today, okay, which we're seeing with the LG community, right? People are like, oh, I don't know about that, and that's a little harsh. Well, God obviously knew in the past why there was judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? We're seeing it in today's society, that these types of people, it's not about some type of preference, okay? It's about a sickness. It's about vileness. It's about uncleanliness. It's a lot that goes into it. I can't go into deep detail because, of course, I'll get hit for hate speech. But hopefully God will protect this video so people out there can see and understand that they're constantly portraying themselves as these things. Now, The Rock doesn't come out and talk about Christianity, but The Rock he's portrayed as the cool guy, right? Oh, The Rock is cool, because he was funny when he was a wrestler, and then he became a total, I don't know how you would even describe him now. How fake he acts, really. I mean, they're such phonies. It's so unbelievable that these people can't see through it. But they're just such phonies. And The Rock always comes out, and he's always so kind and loving, and they use trigger words like love. I've talked about it for years. Christians used to get on me all the time. They'd be like, you don't understand the Bible. God is love. And I understand God is love and God is mercy, but they're using that, twisting it into tolerance. So by constantly saying love and acceptance, right, or saying love, they're pushing it into acceptance, then they're pushing it into tolerance, which means since God is mercy and God is love, that we're supposed to love wickedness. They want us to love wickedness, love the sin. Oh, someone can't help how they were born. Nobody's born with a preference in the bedroom. These are things that develop through time on earth. Some people, unfortunately, get into these things and these perversions because something might have happened to them when they're a child, right? Some type of horrible incident. Many others go into this type of sexual preference because of the mind control, because it's constantly shoved and subliminally shoved in their faces over and over and over. Then they think they're born that way because these people tell them they're born that way. So now everybody's convinced that they're born a certain way. Oh, yeah? Was somebody out there born with this certain fetish? Was somebody out there born loving cougars? I mean, give me a break. These are all preferences. Okay, these are all things that people, have a preference for when it comes to fornicate or whatever you want to call it, right? So understand what they're trying to do here. And they use love constantly, and then they use their generosity, which I've talked about. The secret societies constantly, in all of their teachings, promote philanthropy. That's why the Masons always go out, like I constantly say, they go out and show up at the parades and things like that. They worship Lucifer. So then they go out in public and they're like, people are like, oh, they don't really worship the devil. How many people message me? Like, they're great people. I see all these idiots when I do videos on the Shriners. Like, the Shriners helped my mom or my kid out, because they did this at the hospital. Oh, yeah, well, you don't know what the Shriners are doing behind closed doors. But I guess to them it's okay since they gave some money to help out at the hospital. Like they said, their good deeds outweigh their bad deeds. So they give money to the hospital, then they do things with kids, so they feel like, oh, well, I gave money to the hospital, so I can do whatever I want with the kid. That's how their thinking works, right? That's how these people think. But there's a deception with all of these people. They all pretend by donating because they're taught this, like the Rockefellers, Buffett, all of them. They all pretend. They show up on these shows. Like, I remember I covered one with the Kardashians. They show up with these giant checks. Like I've said a million times, I give money to people, I give money to the homeless. I give money to people in need of money. When I have money and I'm able to do that and somebody's in need, I don't go around, I don't do videos here of reaching, thousands of people and go, hey, I gave money to so-and-so. I'm a great person. Oh, how come the celebrities go out every day when they donate? They talk about their charity, right? And they're out there doing this stuff and promoting this stuff because it gives a protective wall for you if you ever look into who they really are. And they're like, they gave to this, they gave that. What did you do? That's how it works. It's an image that's portrayed, and it hides what they're really involved in. And I'll do another video, and I've said it a couple times, so I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm sure you've all noticed, any store you've been to in the last month, have you noticed how they're asking you to donate or round up and donate to this, donate to that? Now they're at the point where they're not even saying donate to like a children's hospital, so they want to guilt you into that, or the Red Cross for some event that they create. They're even just like, hey, round up to your local charity. People just do it. They're on autopilot because they've been conditioned. And this isn't just about, people living the way that these people live and this narcissistic, society where, oh, I did this, I gave to this charity, so it doesn't matter that I was wicked when I went home to my kids or whatever, right? It's about more than that because it's also making people don't realize that they're getting bled out in their bank accounts. And this whole mindset of giving, people are like, well, that's a good thing. God will want to give. God will want you to give. But they're using that in a twisted way. They're using that telling you to give as they raise the prices on everything and everybody goes broke and they're buying up all the land with their money, right? Why doesn't Oprah just open up all of the land that she has there? What about her home, right? What does she do? She shows up at the thing like I covered at the, where all the victims were, getting shelter. She shows up there with a camera crew. And people still are like, oh, well, Oprah just wanted people to be able to see what's going on there. She sticks pillows behind people's backs. Yeah, how about you let them all into your home? Because if that was any one of us, these celebrities would be saying, oh, let them into your home. Let them squat in your backyard, right? That's what they tell us all the time. Let all the people come across the border and live in your communities, right? It's unbelievable. These people are nothing but frauds. They're nothing but deceivers. We've seen it time and time again. And they're using Maui now. They pick probably their two biggest celebrities as far as like the image that they have, like The Rock. Everybody loves The Rock, and all these morons love Oprah too, right? So they've rolled them out, and they're like, well, Oprah lives there, and they've rolled The Rock out. The Rock grew up there. Or The Rock, lived in the islands. He can't even say specifically where because he probably didn't really grow up there, but sure, he grew up there. They roll them out, right? Because they want you to stop being suspicious of the fact that they just torched everybody there and that they're going to do it to you next. That's what they do it for. So, oh, wow, oh, and they're so nice. They're giving 10 million. Then people are like, well, they have over 4 billion combined. So what did the zombie liberals say to that? They're like, well, at least they're giving something. What did you give? What did you do? 10 million's a lot, And it's just like, oh, yeah. But let's talk about the real elephant in the room. How all these celebrities' homes were untouched and all the poor, people that they want to wipe out, all the businesses they want to clear out, all were torched, aren't getting insurance money, and are pretty much having their land seized. Now, let's talk about that. Oh, no, instead we're going to talk about how we could build back infrastructure, build back better, build back, smart technology into an island that is, has most of the land owned by celebrities, right? But they continue to point the finger at us, blame us, and ask us to do something about the things that they're doing. And this, again, it takes attention off of them and their involvement in the direct energy weapon that torched that island. Every single person who is there, for the most part, you could see, all over social media talking about it, who live there, are now waking up because they're like, oh my gosh, and these people who are conspiracy theorists are actually, truthful about a lot of these things with the government. And they know that people are seeing it. They know that they are. It's absolutely disgusting. So these people are disgusting. Oprah, of course, is one of those influencers as well, Christianity, that tried to lure people into accepting the LG community stuff. That was part of her role in the beginning in the 90s. And now 30 years later, however long it's been, 25 years later, look where we're at. You could thank people like Oprah for the disgusting world that we're living in. And these celebrities are like, oh, everything's great. People are, they're the ones creating all of this chaos. They're the ones who are doing all of this stuff over and over and over again to all of us, right? Romans chapter 16, verses 17 through 18. I appeal to you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions and create obstacles contrary to the doctrine that you have been taught. Avoid them. For such persons do not serve our Lord Christ, but their own appetites. And by smooth talk and flattery, they deceive the hearts of the naive. That's exactly what's going on here. Romans chapter 16, verses 17 through 18, right? They are deceiving the hearts of the naive. And we live amongst such naive fools who just look at everything through one lens, and that's the lens that they've been trained to look through and trust in. They don't trust in the Lord. They trust in the media and the government, the communist government, the dictatorship that's established here. And then they're killing and destroying their own citizens, their own civilians. In their mind, it's justified. It's justified in their mind. Oh, well, you know, they're lucky that we're even letting them live. It's serial killer type stuff, psychopath stuff. That's what they all are. So Oprah and The Rock, they care so much about you. Again, the video on Oprah and what was going on at her school, I'll put it up over on the website, uprisingrevival.com, because I can't put any of that stuff up here. I try to put it in the, you know, even just the articles in the clip, you can't put it in. It automatically goes into review, and that'll just get my channel taken down, so we don't want to deal with that, do we? But maybe they'll come out and talk about where all those missing kids are, and I'll do more videos on that. And the secret underground bases that are there in Maui. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're still on the island. They could have been taken off the island, but they're not talking about that. You know, they're just talking about you donating and, oh, things are going to get worse before they get better. Nothing about all the missing children, of course, because why would they? Because they know exactly where they are. They're probably in Oprah's basement. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless all of you always and your families.